Welcome back to Market Master, Roland Attenborough. Thank you for jumping back into our Bitcoin observations. Let's take a look at Bitcoin today as we discuss the observations that take place in the 4-year cycle. If you are looking at Bitcoin yourself, please take very careful note of this green box here, where we're going to go through each one of these together, you and I, and we're going to work shoulder to shoulder so that we can establish an understanding about the Bitcoin network and what happens with these numerical observations. Make sure you save this green box so that you can go ahead and identify the things that we are discussing today. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe now if you enjoy the content that we're providing. Alright, let's start off now with the 1400 days for our tops to tops. And if this is true, let's go observe these anomalies. So we're talking about top to top. So let's take our counter. We're going to take our measuring tool. We're going to move out, and here we go. Here comes our first top, and it is 1491 days to the top. We could extend it into the next month of 1500 as well as the 1461. So 1400 days does make an average for our top. Let's go ahead and let's go have a look at our next metric here. Our next top here coming in is 1431 days. So our average of the 1400 is still intact. Let's continue to work forward and see what the next one produces. Again, going from our top to top, we have 1430 days. So again, our model of our average numerical observations is intact with a 1400 day top to top. Alright, let's move forward just a little here, and let's just take a look at the future, because I'm always about finding out what we can see into the future. So we're stating that around 1400 days, that could arrive, August 2029, when I've talked about the end of the cycle for the 100-year cycle. So this could also move into the September and the October period before we see a fall down again from top to top. So that's our first observation now from our top to top. Now we're going to go take a look at 1400 days average from the bottom to the bottom. Alright, let's just move forward now and let's just take a look at what we can see. Moving back to our first part, this is going to be probably a little extended on this one, or possibly shorter. Let's just take a look. Here we are, we're at 1188 days. Moving forward, our 1400 days would start here. So as you can see now, our average from bottom to bottom has worked out quite nicely. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at our next observation here, where we can see bottom to bottom again and see if we have a correlation in the numerical values. We're looking for 1400, and here we are. Oh, sorry, I did take it from the higher low. Let's just go back to right here so that we get our marker correctly. We're looking for 1400. We're 1430 days therein. So again, our observation for the 1400 days bottom to bottom is intact there. So let's go ahead and let's take our next model and let's measure out again, and we're looking for again 1400 days. So we have 1431 days before our bottom comes in. So again, our average bottom to bottom has numerically worked out with numerical precision. So let's just continue to work forward here as we take this low and we work towards our next one, which is my projected bottom in October, November of 2026. Are we going to see something like that take place? Well, let's just go have a look. So at 1400 days, that would bring us to September. 1430 would take us to October, and the 1461 days would bring us into November 2026. So there again, my observations for a bottom to a bottom are therefore, I would say, they rhyme or repeat very closely. So at that point, where we've established our two market metrics. Let's go ahead now and let's do our next market metric, which is our 400 days top to a bottom. All right, let's just move this over so we can see the chart a little better. So we're talking about a top to a bottom. So we're going to go back to here. Top to a bottom, we're stating that it's coming in around 400 days. This one comes in at 426 days. So our numerical observation is an average of the 400. So 426 is providing us with a metric that we can use. Let's go over to our next campaign and let's take a measurement from the top there, and we're looking for again 400 days. This one was 365 or 1 year, and the next metric would take us to 396 for a bottoming pattern, and this is repeating, rhyming, and looking very similar again. So we have again two metrics working out here. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at our next top in this campaign, and let's measure it again outward. We're looking for 400 days. This one is 365 and 396 before the top to the bottom. So again, this metric is working out as well. Let's go ahead and let's just take a look at the future, and let's take a look at what we could see for a bottom. As you all know, that I've been stating that October or September, October, November, and December would provide us with a bottom, and November would be 396 days or 13 and a half months, and our 426 days would also be right in there. So again, our metric for the 400 days top to bottom is intact. Let's go ahead and look at now our bottoms to our topping pattern, and this ranges between 1,050 days and 1,060 days. All right, let's go have a look at our bottoming pattern and see what we can see here. This pattern is showing that it is subsiding at 762 days. However, the end of the cycle is showing here at 1,004 days. So our average now is just under our 1,050 on our first metric. All right, well, let's go ahead now and let's take our next campaign. Let's just see what we can see there for a bottom to a top. Are we going to see, so 1,065 days to our top from our bottom. So our metric now between the 1,050 and 1,060 days is still holding. Let's again now take our third campaign and let's measure that, and let's get a reading on what we can see now. So we're saying between 1,050 days and 1,060 days, and this one happens to be 1,066 days in this market metric. So there again, our numbers and our readings are conclusive so far. Let's take a look now from our bottom to the top, where I told you October will be 1,067 days and to watch out. This one is showing 1,065 days from our low, and again our market metric of 1,050 and 1,060 days from the bottom to the top is still intact. Okay, next we're going to move down the list. Now that we've checked off so far all these, our next one is 500 days from the bottom to the halving. Okay, is that true? Well, let's go have a look, and let's have a look at our first campaign first and see what it yields. Could have some variance, but we're here to look at and measure this. This one is stating 400 days from the low to the halving event. So we're just 100 days below this average. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead and take a look at our second campaign, and let's get a reading from our low there and see what our halving event is yielding us. This next metric, or our second campaign, is 547 days. So again, it lines up with our 500-day bottom to the halving event. Let's go ahead now and let's take a look at our next model and the third campaign here, and let's get a reading from this and see what we can see. To this halving event, we are 517 days. So there again, our average numerical observations for a 500-day bottom to the halving is intact. It is repeating and rhyming here. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at our fourth observation and see what that will yield us while we move forward. Next halving event is 517 days from our bottom to our halving event. So there again, our 500 average metric is repeating and rhyming and is, in my view, dead on. Let's go ahead and let's just take a look at what our future observations will yield us, stating that we could have a low in this October-November period to our perceived next halving event, which will be in the April of 2028. We find that we have 548 days. So therein, we are still showing that the 500-day average from a bottom to a halving is in fact intact. All right, let's now move on to our last metric, which is 979 days to 882 days, and that is our top to our halving events. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to our first model here. We're going to take a reading here. Our first one is the 973 days, so we're within our metric of the 979. Let's go ahead and take a look at our second campaign here, and let's get a reading on what we can see there as we move into the top to the halving. This one is showing 882 days from the top to this halving event. So we are still within our market metric here. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at our third campaign here as we move forward. Our fourth event, or our third campaign here, is 882 days, again equal to our second campaign. So our repeating or rhyming cycle is still taking place. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at our current all-time high and see if we can see a similarity running out into our fifth halving, and if there's some type of correlation. Here, this one is showing that the halving event in April 2028 takes us into 913 days. So we are actually just under our 979 here and within our 882 days from the top to the halving event. So here I've shown you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 market metrics of how we can find tops and bottoms, changes in trend when we use numerical observations of counting between the cycles. So here again, I've shown you 6 metrics. So this should be something that you should be paying attention to when we make our observations. So let's just go ahead and let's take another look at our top to our halving. This one again, I think I'm going back and repeating myself, but I just wanted to show you again up to this halving event. This one will bring us into the 913 as we said, so it's within our market metric, and this is what I got for you guys. It's if you like the work that we do here regarding market metrics and showing you how we can make determinations long before others are able to take our work and dissect it and tell us whether or not we're wrong or right. And 9 times out of 10, the work that we do here is correct. If you like what we're doing, again, hit that like button and subscribe now so that you can stay on top of the work that we do. I'd like to send out a special thank you to TradingView for providing us with the electronic charts and the market data so that we're providing analysis to you that I think is important. Also, I'd like to thank YouTube for the platform in which my voice is heard, and our audience and the traders and the amount of students learning this work can hear our work. So thank you again, YouTube, for providing us with a podium in which we can speak about the work that we do. I'd also like to thank the Belize government for working closely with us. We've had positive discussions with the finance minister, Honorable Hiro Belani, and his ministry, where they are providing us with guidance in walking alongside of Belize's financial services. I'd also like to send out a big thank you for our positive meeting with the president of the Belize Mayors Association, Honorable Rigoberto Vilos. We had a very positive conversation, and I look forward to continuing with our positive talks with the Belize government while we bring our Bullseye blockchain project and banking settlement utility, the coin, Bullseye coin, which is backed by my personal Bitcoin and my personal silver. No other project in the world, even including Bitcoin, came out of the gate with a proof of value. So our project is much more different than any other project in the fact that we have a proof of value under our proof of work system, and we're looking very, very forward to providing this to the world and to the individuals, institutions, and banks as we move into the world stage. Thank you again for joining us here on Market Master Roland Attenborough, and I look forward to meeting with you again and discussing our observations as we move forward. Peace and love, brothers and sisters.